because he's defiantly stood up to Putin. Putin basically made him a target, an enemy, a person to extract revenge on, and so now we are, a decade, more than a decade later, and Putin is a man who doesn't forget. And the Georgian government has since changed. The Georgian government is now occupied by people who are pro-Putin, pro-Russian, where
Mm.
Putin has an influence. And so, in my opinion, this is a hostage situation. There's no legal justification for keeping him in jail. We're all watching this terrible war of aggression in Ukraine.
Mm.
Well, this is deja vu. In 2008, Vladimir Putin sent his troops in to Georgia to take over Georgia. And at the time, Mikheil Saakashvili was the president of Georgia. Like Zelensky is doing right now, he stood up and fought back. And the Russians were able to seize small pieces of territory, like they're doing right now in Ukraine, but they didn't get all of Georgia. And from that moment on, because he's defiantly stood up to Putin, Putin basically made him a target, an enemy, a person to extract revenge on. There are some images of him that came out a couple of weeks ago of a man who looks like he's about to die. He's lost somewhere around I think 40 or 50 kilos. He's like half his body weight. He's just, it's just a shocking picture of a man who's been incarcerated, who's been tortured, who's been denied medical care, who, according to a number of forensic experts, has been poisoned with arsenic. And you have this former president of Georgia in custody in a politically motivated case who's dying. He should be released immediately to Europe or America where they can treat him so he doesn't die. That's by far the most important thing. Is urgent. He needs to be released immediately. And secondly, what he's asked me for. So when I saw those images of him, I went public, and the reason I went public is I've been through this before.
Mm.
My lawyer, Sergei Magnitsky, was arrested in a politically motivated case in Russia. He was kept in pretrial detention. He was tortured, and he was eventually killed in pretrial detention in a slow motion assassination like the one I'm witnessing right now. From Sergei's murder came something called the Magnitsky Act, which is a piece of legislation which exists here in the UK and the US and various other countries, which allows governments to freeze the assets and ban the travel of people involved in human rights abuse. And since what I see here right now is a gross human rights abuse, what he has asked me to do when I went public is to sanction the people, to add to the Magnitsky list the people who are torturing him to death.
Mm.